I'm just going to go quickly over what is PACE and then a little detail about the Ann Arbor program. If you need any of the pieces put together, a little more about what is PACE or a little more about the in-between pieces, come to the round table and we'll talk about it. PACE stands for Property Assessed Clean Energy. So far to date, 27 states have passed enabling legislation. It allows local governments to establish energy financing districts, to raise capital, to assess the property for energy efficiency and renewable energy improvements, place a lien on the property, and then collect repayment through the special assessment mechanism. Special assessments have a very long history in this country. The first special assessment district was set up by Benjamin Franklin in 1736. This is my favorite factoid. And he used it for an opt-in firefighting service. So as you can imagine, days of wooden houses, it was probably really pretty popular to pay it, because if your house caught on fire, they'd come and put it out, and if it didn't, it'd burn down. So it has a long history of municipal use. Assessments for improvements in the public interest. They've been used for septic tank replacements, footing drain, disconnects, seismic improvements, sidewalks, all kinds of things that benefit the public good. What is the business case for PACE? Why would a local government want to get into this business? Well, it serves a public good, it creates jobs, it keeps money in the local economy, it supports economic development, it increases and maintains property values, it provides attractive financing. It's more attractive than what other sources of financing available for this type of work. It reduces the operating costs of your business, and that's good for everyone's bottom line, and it facilitates the move towards energy efficiency. The statute, Public Act 270 of 2010, lays out 4 steps, well, lays out 3 steps that you have to do. You have to have a resolution of intent by your city council that says, we intend on establishing a PACE program, and here's the report, and come and tell us what you think about it at the public hearing. Then you hold the public hearing, and then they'll pass, they can do a resolution to establish, which basically says this PACE program is established as written up in the report. And then you implement the program. The report is probably the sticky wicket in this. Writing the resolutions was really easy. Writing the report took a little more time. The report basically has all the details about how the program is going to be run and operated. Project eligibility, project size, properties that are eligible, which properties are eligible, what is the application process, what does your energy assessment agreement look like, what are the financing details, how are you going to raise the capitals, how are you going to secure the bond, what are your provisions for marketing and education, and how are you going to get that pesky written consent from the mortgage holder, and then program fees, what kind of fees you're going to need to support your program. When we were working on developing PACE, we basically broke it into 4 buckets, or 4 columns of tasks. There's the communications piece, the technical project details, the financing details, and then the software, what are you going to use to track stuff. Communications is just, the basic website, energy information portal, program forms, marketing, outreach, media, training, those sorts of basic things. The technical project details probably took the longest to put together. That's for the application process, the application forms, what projects are eligible, and in Ann Arbor's case, we were using the EECBG money as the loan loss reserve, so we had to make sure eligible projects lined up with the NEPA exclusion contained in with the grant money, so we had to do a lot of work on that. Audit standards, what standards are you going to do for your audit? You have to have one before you can have a special assessment, so what's the standard? How are you going to do your building permits? Verification, how are you going to do your measurement and verification, and how are you going to review the application and decide which applications have merit when they come in. And then there's the financing details. How are you going to do the mortgage consent? That was a very important piece. The statute requires, if you have a mortgage on your property, to get consent acknowledgement from your mortgage holder. You have to have the guidelines for what % of the value of the property will you assess, and what are going to be your criteria for a property to be, suitable for assessment. how you do your bond issuance, how is that all going to work, what are the details, your title, you need to do a title search to do part of your due diligence, how are you going to run that through the city structure, and then recording, the recording, final step after you sign, you got to record the lien on the property. And then there's the software, you're going to want to track the application, how's the application doing in your process, what's the progress of the project, and then you're going to want to track the results so you can talk about the benefit that you provided to the community by this program. For the communications, we're basically doing a branding. It's A2 Energy. These slides are part of the A2 Energy brand. In Ann Arbor's case, it's going to be both commercial and residential are kind of rolling out at the same time. For the commercial side of the program, it's going to have a lot of PACE information. It's got the PACE report, the application package. There's an Excel spreadsheet that they're asked to fill out to make tracking easier for us. The spreadsheet will come in and they'll send us subsequent information and we'll just add it to the spreadsheet. There's going to be an information brochure that's going to be part of our marketing. There'll be lots of presentations to business associations. If anyone has an Ann Arbor Business Association that they would like me to come talk to, I'm happy to. We're going to be using press releases and lots of other free media. And currently, then there's going to be some training. And currently the training is one-on-one. We don't have that together yet. And first I thought that was kind of lame, but then I thought, but now I'm learning. I'm really learning a lot when I go out and talk to people individually about their potential applications, what they don't understand. So it's going to really be helpful when we put the training together to put something together that helps people. These are the technical project details. This is essentially a five easy step process. There's a pre-application process, application review, installation, and tracking. That's all there is to it. The pre-application screening was added primarily because we didn't want a business to start down this path if they weren't going to be eligible, or their project was too small, or their project was going to be over $250,000. We kind of set our project limits for this first phase, initial, trying to get the program in line between $10,000 and $350,000, and $10,000 is because the City of Ann Arbor also has a revolving loan fund to help projects less than 10, and the $350,000 talked to some business owners that had some audits done, and that's about the amount of money they needed for the big buildings. So okay, that sounded pretty good. We want to make sure that the project, if it's less than 10, you have to go down the revolving. You have to go to revolving loan. You don't need to do an energy assessment. It's a lot simpler, a lot easier, a lot cheaper. If the project is going to be greater than $250,000, then you have to use an energy services company. This is a company that offers performance guarantees, which means they come in and they do the audit, they put together the project, they typically manage the project to do the install, and then they monitor and track. And if for some reason your project isn't delivering the energy savings, then that energy services company will make you whole. So if you need to do that, we want you to get started down that path. There's a certain category of projects where you don't have a lot of really big energy project and not much leverage available in your state assessed value. So we're going to allow a limited energy analysis for that very small part of properties. And then this also, when we were working with the local banks, they were very, very concerned that none of their mortgage holders got very far down this path to doing a PACE, of applying for PACE, going through the audit, applying for the loan application, and then coming to them and saying, no, sorry, we're not going to sign off on this. So they'll be the first consult with the mortgage holder in this step. And then there's the basic review and completeness check. That's real simple. When the application comes in, is everything there? I think it'd take me about 10 minutes. So, but anyway, it's just like, is it all there? Are all the pieces there? Did they sign everything they needed to sign? And then there's the title search. And the title search is to make sure that the people who say they own the property do own the property. And then it doesn't have any involuntary liens against it. No tax liens, state liens, tax judgments from the feds. We have to make sure it's within our energy district, which in this case is the city limits minus the township donut holes. We have to make sure the property owner is current on their taxes, current on their mortgage, current on their water and sewage bills. And we have to make sure that they're not in any bankruptcy proceeding or that the property is not an asset in any type of bankruptcy proceeding. Then when it comes back from the title review and the title's nice and clean and there's no issues with it, then we'll do the technical part of it, which is basically the engineering review, and to make sure that, you know, the projects are eligible for the funds, that the expected savings is greater than 1 for the project over the time of the assessment. We have to make sure that the assessment period does not exceed the life of the equipment. For instance, if you want a 10-year assessment and you're putting in lighting fixtures, you might have a little bit of a lifespan problem with those. The energy efficiency of the building needs to be improved before you put on any renewables. The savings need to be realistic. This is very important to the integrity of the program. The savings need to be properly stated so that the project does cash flow properly and that the forecasts are reasonable and realistic. The amount of financing has to be equal to or less than the project cost. The funding needs to be available, and then of course there's some program fees, and so the fees they send in need to be correct, which in this case is basically an application fee. And then there is a title search fee, there's a recording fee, and then there's an annual assessment fee, which are all going to, well, the application fee is going to council and it should be approved early November. Then there's the installation. You have to get your building permit. Every project has to have a building permit. That's basically how we're going to track the programs. They'll be in the Track It system. So we're going to track the programs through that by following the building permit. You need to sign your energy assessment agreement, which basically says, yes, you have the money is here, the money is yours. Then you do your install. Then you have to have your final inspection from the building department that you clear. The funds are then dispersed, and then it's recorded. Quickly. Then all you do is you pay it back. You have an annual certification that basically says, I'm still here, I'm still not in bankruptcy, the equipment's running, I really like it, I'm very happy. And then you submit your energy use data so we can verify the savings.